My name is Tanья, and I was invited to Saha, Yakutia, here in the Right to Be Cold project. I come from Finland, Lapland, and I'm an artist. I've been here for almost a month now and working on this project through art and people. This project is a collaboration project with Gёte Institute and National Art Museum of Yakutia, and I was invited by the collaboration partners here. In this project I wanted to raise a theme of the river, and the river has been in the intersection of this artistic work throughout the whole process. And I've been investigating how people in local people here, they connect with the river and what kind of landscape there is in the river, cultural and geographical ones. And now we could go to see the exhibition together. Let's start from here. So this is an installation of water, and it's made from pearls, which I found quite local material. I have seen it in many places, decorations and traditional dresses. And these strings are made by me and local people in this workshop that we have been doing throughout the whole process. And yeah, it's quite sensitive because the water is really sensitive, and I wanted to address that in this work. And then this big one we did in the artistic workshop with local people. It's inspired by Google Maps, when we have to be traveling via Google Maps for the past 2 years. So I took that form of Lena River from the Lena Delta until Yakutsk. And with local people we painted this landscape painting with natural materials. So everyone who participated, they used these natural materials as a paintbrush. And they painted with me together this whole landscape of Lena River. And actually these materials that were used in this painting, they are here mostly, and they were collected by me from Tabaga, where we went for a hike, by Lena River, and then also from here in Yakutsk, where we've been walking by the river. Yeah, so these were like the paint brushes that people use it, or like stamps. They are all here visible. And then this exhibition is called The Letter to the River, and here is like the actual letter, one of those actual letters. So in the workshop that we held here, there was also this writing corner, and people, local people, were writing river letters, what they want to say, how they are connecting. Yeah, and they are all visible here. And actually the whole exhibition, there will be a pen and a notebook, so people can continue this process after this opening as well. So we will leave that here, and I hope that people participate there. This is actually one that is really common in Inari Lake in Finland, that my family eats a lot. It's called whitefish. I'm not sure what it is. Is there that kind of a fish local? But I have seen paintings from local artists from the fish that is at least similar. And then there's another fish, sobo, in Saha language. And yeah, I wanted to address that fishes cannot speak for themselves, or can they? And then throughout the whole process I have had the Polaroid camera with me, and I have been taking photos with the Polaroid just from happenings that have been going on, like in my everyday life in here, the sceneries, the paths that I walk, like stuff that I've done. So they are all here, places I have had coffee, and walks. And yeah, there's also a few photos of the workshop and the materials that were here, and wood cutting, and yeah. I will tell this later what they are when I will be shown the graphic art section. But they are part of that. And in the workshop, we also did linocut with the local people, and the theme was again the river, and how the people think about the river, how they connect with the river. And these linocuts I have printed here by hand to the paper. And the form of the collage is like it's coming from the traditional Finnish wall clothing we call raanu. And I've also seen that it's like quite common thing in here as well, that you have these kind of wall clothings. So that's where the form comes from. And I really loved how people were in that workshop engaging to linocut. And actually, linocut, I have done graphic art like through etching and aquatinta, but linocut is quite new medium for me. But I wanted to include that because it's like really traditional local form of making graphic art. And so this process kind of taught me as well new medium, and I really liked it. And I even bought those linocut stuff to bring home. And here we went to, these photos are from the green fields from Yakutsk. And we went to have a walk there for a day, and then taking photos of the area. And I wrote to the water that human are nature, because sometimes we talk about nature connection, or like somehow that people are different than the nature, when in my opinion they are actually the same. Like we are all the same here, even though we as people, as a species might think that like we are quite distant from the nature, but actually we are the nature as well. And as you can see also, I think this is like heartbeat, and this is something like belly or baby or like something like that. So when you look the nature like that, maybe you can start to see those common things there. And then one day I was collecting, or actually in this greenfield trip, collected some nature materials for the workshop, but also leftovers from walks by the river. I did these, they are like persons, all of them. Like I call them urban nature people. And it's part of my experience here in Yakutsk, because I've been mostly in this urban environment, and like I still feel that people in Yakutsk, they are urban people, but they are also nature people, that they connect, and they have this like maybe ancestral connection with the surrounding nature as well. So I wanted to address that with these works. And then here is the graphic art section. It's more or less experimental. This is one of the, I wouldn't like to say main works, but it has been with me through the whole process. So this was a secret letter that I gave to local artists, and they drew on the wood plate, they drew their letter to the river, and then I hide it, and no one else knew like what the other people had been doing. And then I cut it with the woodcut technique, and then pressed it by hand in here. So actually, like people who participated in this project, they haven't seen the full picture yet. Yes. And then, well, these are just like experiments that I did with linocut. Maybe this is quite familiar for Saha people. I heard a story that people go and put these pancakes by the river to like thank or ask for advice, or when they want to connect and be thankful to the river. And this is like 3 different sections, but it's more like real life 3 sections. This is the groundwater that is under us, that we have our drinking water. This is what we use as a water, for example, drinking a glass of water. And this is what is above us here in Yakutsk, the pipes. And these 2 are the ones that were by the window, those sticks. I wanted to just to play with the sticks and use them as a like a stamp to do graphic art. And then I was carving a little bit of Tabaga landscape. That was our first weekend, and we went on a hike there. And then I took pictures of the landscape and carved them there. It was an experiment. They look a little bit like hands. And the lowest one, this is Lena Delta. Really important like thing for the whole bird community, for example, like the whole ecosystem of Lena Delta, waterlands of it. And I was looking at it from the Google Maps and thinking like, wow, this is amazing, like you can see they're spreading all over. So I wanted to do that, and that as well for me represents a little bit like some kind of human organ, like lungs or heart or veins, yeah. And this was my last installation. I wanted to also reflect about me traveling here and discussing about the subject of indigenous rights, knowledge and global warming. So me flying from my home through Helsinki to Yakutsk, it was in the airplane ticket that my whole CO2 emission was 1,704 kilograms, so quite a lot. And I also want to bring that up, that like we know that we are not perfect, even though we want to protect the environment, we can like reflect our own doings, and then that's how maybe change or turn the way that we are going. Here is one stick as well, and this I brought just from outside the artistic house, this artist house of Yakutsk, and yeah, it's the shape of a river, and I wanted to put that in the center. It's almost like a cousin of that Lena River at the background with its wavy shape. You can see the cold weather, how the tree has to survive, like, and it's twisting and it's windy. And yeah, I found that just lying outside, and I didn't want to rip anything out. And these lines are in the green fields. If you go for a walk there, it's like these lines you can see from far, the lines in the trees, and those are the lines where the water rises when it rises a lot. And also I wanted to address that in nature there is like a lot of art itself, like these figures that are on the tree. There are a lot, maybe they're made by some ants, they've been biting the tree. And this is also a reflection of local art, where I have seen a lot of live trees, which is quite centric in some of the local art, so that's why it's here. So thank you for being with me in this tour, and I want to thank the participants who participated all of this workshop and gave their devotion and connection and shared their culture, and it was really valuable for me. Without them, this would have not been happening at all. Like this, yeah, I think it's really important to hear the locals' voice and like respect the local culture, and I hope I succeed in that. That was my main goal of this whole project. And yeah, I also want to thank the National Art Museum of Yakutia and Goethe Institute for the chance to come here and experience this. And one more thing I would like for you, next time you go out to the river, you could try these kind of things, little practices, what you can do. Maybe make a small installation, but remember to respect the area, not leave any trash. You can like collect and rearrange, but don't take anything or don't leave anything that is like harmful for the surroundings. Bye-bye!